For 90 days, I spent an hour a day trying to learn how to sing. At the beginning of this journey, I was an awful singer. I was told that I was tone deaf by a lot of my friends, and I was embarrassed to sing in the car or anything just because I sounded so bad. So I decided to hire a vocal coach and see if I could improve. If in 90 days, singing an hour a day, I could go from sounding tone deaf to sounding okay. This is the second video in this 3-part series covering days 30 through 60. If you missed the first video covering the first 30 days, I'll leave a link in the description below. In the first 30 days, I didn't really improve a lot. I hired a vocal coach and started doing a lot of vocal exercises, and my singing didn't sound great at the end, but a big change that did happen was I started being able to hear when I was off pitch. So my ear improved a lot, which if any of you are musicians, you'll know that ear training is extremely important in music. So I was starting to actually be able to hear when I was off pitch, which means I'm not tone deaf. So although I now know I'm not tone deaf, at the beginning of these 30 days, I still wasn't hitting most of my pitches. To try and combat this, I continued doing these exercises that I was given where I would hit different pitches. I'd go from a first to a fifth and do scales and just try walking through my range, hitting different notes. I also changed the songs I was singing. I started singing Hallelujah and The Boxer. And The Boxer is originally by Simon & Garfunkel, but I was doing a Mumford & Sons version because I liked how they sounded. Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift. All lies in jest, still the man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. And both of these songs start in lower registers. And where I felt very uncomfortable were the higher notes. So these songs started pretty low, which meant I could start the song feeling pretty comfortable, and then they would go to higher notes, which is where I struggled a little bit, but it was a nice balance for me because I knew I'd feel comfortable singing the beginning of the song, and as it got higher, I could have something to strive for. I'd heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. I am just a poor boy, though my story's seldom told. I've squandered my resistance for a pocket full of mumbles, such are promises. Laying low, seeking out the poor quarters where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they would know. So with these 2 new songs, I continued practicing every day, and some days I felt really good about my singing, and then other days I would just feel awful about it. I'd hear all the notes I was not hitting. Hallelujah, hallelujah. And for some of the exercises, I have to go into my higher register, I have to hit the top of my range, and just hitting those notes is extremely uncomfortable because I've never hit them before. So hearing myself struggle and sometimes hit the notes, but even when I did, just hitting them shakily and not really sounding good, made it really hard to want to continue. So some days I was excited about singing, but a lot of the days I just wanted to give up. The fact that you're watching this right now means I didn't, but there were a lot of days where I didn't enjoy this singing process anymore. But I decided not to quit. I kept practicing an hour a day and doing all these exercises to push myself. And pretty soon I started realizing I was improving. For example, at day 1, when I was doing these exercises to kind of push my range, I thought my full voice ended at C4 or middle C. But by day 60, I was getting up to an F above middle C. So that's what? 2.5 whole steps or 5 semitones above. And when I was hitting it, I was starting to feel more comfortable there too. I was able to hold notes for longer upper in my register. My falsetto was also getting more comfortable. At the beginning, it sounded very pitchy, it It sounded kind of like a horn. Like it would just be like, "Dee!" And I hated the sound, but I kept practicing it every day. And over time, it started sounding a little softer. I also started to enjoy singing more. Instead of just singing at home, I started experimenting with going out and just driving and singing at the top of my lungs. So I would blast Disney songs and just sing along to Reflection by Mulan, or sing along to The Lion King, Hercules. And overall, I just started having a lot more fun. I was able to not only think about singing as an hour of practice, but I would actually be able to enjoy my time when I was driving, just singing along to all my favorite songs. She tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throne, she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. Give me one good reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you want me, then all of this will go away. And I started noticing I was hitting a lot of the notes. Not all of them, but I was hitting a lot of them. My acres of a land I have achieved. It may be hard for you to stop and believe, but for you, I'd leave it all. My acres of a land I've achieved. It may be hard for you to stop and believe, but for you, I'd leave it all. It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. In the company of strangers, in the quiet of the railway stations, running scared, laying low, seeking out the poor quarters where the ragged people go, looking for the places only they would know. Some days I still experience these motivation issues where I just didn't want to sing because I didn't want to hear myself struggle. And I decided the best way to combat this was to be able to find someone that I was really comfortable with. I've really enjoyed working with my vocal coach, and I think I've learned a ton from him, but I'm still pretty shy and embarrassed about my singing, so I decided to look elsewhere for some added help. Fortunately, my aunt is actually a professional singer in Spain, and she's amazing. So I texted her at the end of these 60 days and was like, hey, would you be willing to help me for my last 30 days of this singing journey? And she accepted. So for the next 30 days, I'll actually be working with my aunt, who I feel very comfortable with and is a professional singer. So we'll see what difference that can make. If you want to see the next 30 days of this progress, me singing with a professional singer, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss my next upload. Leave a comment below if there are any skills you think I should learn next.